Hey everybody, it's Curse, and today I wanted to share with you what I've been up to for the last couple of weeks. And in order to do that, I have to go back a little bit and give you a bit more detail. I think we can all relate when there's a really fun game launching, or if you're just enjoying the hell out of, let's say, Last Epoch. Sometimes we end up pushing gaming a bit higher on the priority list in life, and that ends up pushing down other stuff lower on the priority list or completely knocking them out of that list altogether. And then it's only a matter of time until that catches up to you and it's time to readjust. And so that's what happened to me. In October, I was having a bit too much fun playing Beastmaster. And when I ran into that absolutely beautiful and phenomenal low life earthquake aftershock build, I couldn't help myself but just get completely immersed in playing Beastmaster Last Epoch. Coincidentally, that's also around the time when it gets really cold where I live and it starts snowing. And so I ended up breaking my gym routine and breaking my exercise routine altogether. And I stopped going to the gym. And essentially I hibernated for the entire winter. And then Last Epoch launched. And I played a lot of Path of Exile as well. And things got a little bit out of hand. Not gonna lie. If you look at my gaming hours before October, and then after October, there's a clear sign that, something got cut in order to make those hours work. And what got cut was my gym time. So, 2 weeks ago, I finally decided enough is enough. It was sunny out, snow melted finally. There was no more excuses for me. And I got back into it. I renewed my gym membership. I started running as well. And I wanted to make sure I have a way of tracking whether or not I'm sticking with my objectives. And the best way to do that is, of course, with a spreadsheet. Here we are. So I put together the spreadsheet to keep myself accountable, to track every single time I either go to the gym or I do cardio. And so this can be anything along the lines of running, biking, swimming, whatever it is. Or if I go and engage in sports. Unfortunately, after breaking my leg and tearing my ACL playing soccer, this is not really an option for me. And then I even have another category. And the reason I put all of these together is, one, obviously to keep myself accountable. So you can see my objective is 4 to 5 exercise days per week. Currently I'm sitting at 5.06, and that includes 3 days that really I shouldn't count because that's before I started. But in order to round down the week, I decided to start at the beginning of this 1 week that I set everything in motion. And so currently I'm sitting at just over 5 days per week average. So I'm above my objective, and that's important because when you get sick, at least when I get sick, I tend to slack off and I don't go to the gym and I don't go running. So my average is going to plummet. So I'm banking up average for those days and for those weeks when I'm going to be unable or at least unwilling to exercise. And when you have 2 small kids, you know how it goes. They bring a lot of germs home and you get sick all the time. But anyways, I'm really happy with how I'm progressing so far. You can see solid performance so far. The other reason I wanted to create this file is I wanted to share it with everybody. Because you can go in, see how I'm doing, and obviously make fun of me if I'm not performing up to my standards and up to my objectives. So that's yet another way to add incentives to myself to keep up with things. But also, you should be able to make a copy of it. If you go File, make a copy, and grab it for yourself. And if you want to join in and stay healthy over the summer, like I said, the weather's warming up. There's no more excuses. And so if you've been anything like me and you've been slacking off and you want an excuse to get back into it, take this spreadsheet. You won't regret it. There's something really satisfying about a green check mark, I gotta say. The exercise in itself is great, but just being able to click, yes, Friday, done. And keeping up that routine is incredibly important and very satisfying to me as well. And something that I've learned over the years, I'm getting into my late 30s now, over 35, let's say. And I used to be able to do a lot of sports. I used to play sports in the same way that I play games. I push myself to the limit and I do everything that I can to perform as well as I can. And sometimes I ignore signs from my body that I should probably take it easy here and there. And that's why I broke a leg, and that's why I broke my ACL. No regrets though. But with that said, I've noticed that when we age, it's so much easier and we have so many more excuses to not stay healthy and to not exercise. Especially during your 30s when you have to come to terms with your body's mortality. And if you don't pivot, you end up breaking legs, tearing ACLs, and just being bedridden for far too long, and then not being able to recover, not being able to enjoy life, and just throwing yourself in an unhealthy routine. And so the best way for me that I found to pivot around that is to engage in more controlled activities. So for me, for example, I started going to the gym after a lot of my injuries because rehabilitating injured areas requires building muscle around that area. And so gym is a great physiotherapy option. So I did tons of gym after every injury. And I've somewhat tried to replace sports with gym nowadays because gym, to me at least, has a very low rate and a very low probability of injury. As long as you're doing your exercises and your weightlifting and whatever else you choose to do in the gym in a slow and controlled way, and you're not stressing your body and pushing it above its limits, because you don't really need to be a weightlifter and a bodybuilder. That's not why at least I'm in the gym. But that pivot towards something more controlled has enabled me to stay active and healthy even past my, let's call it, soccer prime. Another great option for keeping healthy is, I think, biking, swimming. I think those are both fairly low chance of injury and low impact on the legs, on the knees. Running, I've started running again, but running can be high impact on the knees. And if you have bad knees, running can be a bad option, at least for myself. I'm not sure that I'm going to be doing it too much. It's just an option that I have and that I'm using here for these warmer days because I wanted to push my cardio a little bit as well. And I'm sure all of you know a lot of other options that are more controlled, safer for the body, and can enable you to stay healthy even as you approach an age where breaking a leg is not really an option anymore. Taking care of kids with a broken leg is just not an option. You want to avoid breaking legs as much as possible once you have kids. That's partially where I'm coming from. But something else that I find a lot of value in is stretching in general. After injuries, if you go to physiotherapy, every single physiotherapist will recommend you a different set of stretching exercises for the area that you injured. And stretching in general, while it's not a strenuous exercise, it can keep your body more agile and more flexible so that you don't throw your back just doing something extremely simple. So that's something else that is low impact, incredibly easy to do. You can even do it while watching a movie or watching a show. That's how I like to do some of my stretching. When I was recovering from my ACL tear, I did most of my knee and leg stretching while watching TV. And so you can use this other column, or you can add your own columns in here and make this sheet your own and just add, let's say, stretching, or if you love to go pickleball or whatever else, you can make it as useful for yourself as you want it to be. Not only that, but I think exercising can serve other purposes as well. When I go to the gym, I carry a book with me and I'm always multitasking. I frequently multitask even when I'm gaming. I would always watch something on YouTube or whatever, or I'm streaming, for example. But going to the gym, I carry a book, and in between sets, I read my book, and it ends up being a very relaxing and serene environment for me. It kind of recharges me, and if I go first thing in the morning, which is something that I do frequently, it powers me up for the rest of the day. When I go to work in the morning, I'm super pumped. If there's something I really need to get done at work, I fire up the holy trinity of going to the gym in the morning, getting a coffee after that, and firing up some metal. There's nothing that gets things done for me than wombo comboing those three. But yeah, you can use going to the gym as a way to catch up on your favorite podcasts, listening to an audiobook, reading a book, and just get that efficiency going. It's pretty trivial nowadays, but if you just want to go to the gym and enjoy that, that's an option too. You don't have to multitask all the time. Just do whatever you enjoy. Speaking of which, running is something that I absolutely detest, long distance running. So maybe I should start listening to something and get a headset and I don't know, probably listen to some podcast and catch up on that while running because it's unbearable for me. I hate it so much. Going to the gym can also be a good social activity. If you have a buddy that loves going to the gym with you, you can keep each other accountable. You can encourage each other and have fun while doing it. Just keep in mind that if you lose your gym buddy, a lot of people end up quitting going to the gym. So it's very important to build that mental capacity to go to the gym by yourself as well. But anyways, a lot of these things that I'm sharing with you are just reminders for myself to keep myself honest, to keep myself going. Because as I said before April 11th, I did not do much for 6 months in a row. So this is my way of hyping myself up, and hopefully that ends up hyping some of you as well up so you can start or restart or ramp up your exercise routine and reach other levels and stay healthier than ever before. Because like I've said before, I want to be gaming after I'm 100 years old, and I want to see what humanity is going to develop. Can you imagine what kind of ARPGs we're going to be playing in like 70 years? Are we going to be playing action RPGs through VR? Or perhaps through a Neuralink? I don't know, but I intend to find out. And I hope to see as many of you as possible join me on that journey. But my starting point to getting there is keeping myself honest, at the very least for the next 6 months. So you can see I have this going until October, roughly 6 months from now. And I'm gonna have to figure out a solution for what I do when it starts snowing again. Because dropping my entire exercise routine doesn't seem tenable in the long run. But it's okay, I got 6 months to figure that out. So anyways, join me on this journey either as a spectator to call me out when I'm skipping 2 days in a row, or as a participant by making a copy of this file and keeping yourself honest and healthy at the same time. I'm probably going to do a more detailed video for my patrons and my YouTube members. And by the way, huge shout out to them. Thank you so much, guys, for the support. I really appreciate you. And again, I apologize. I've been a little bit lacking on the YouTube front lately, but now you know why. This is one of a few different reasons. I've also been a little bit busy with work and trying to plan my kids' birthday party. So that's something I'm really looking forward to in the near future here. But having said that, I am hoping to increase my YouTube video content creation a little bit. We'll see if I can do that. I've also been prioritizing sleep because without sleep, going to the gym and running is not really an option for me. And to be fair, something else that really suffered over the last 6 months since I ramped up gaming is my sleep schedule. It's been fairly atrocious. So that's something else that I'm trying to line up and make sure I get at least 7 hours per night. So I hope you understand. And I hope you don't mind this kind of content where it's not exactly about playing games, but it's about managing playing games along other high priority activities in life. And on the gaming front itself, I am in the process of trying out a bunch of different games. I've gone through, 5 or 6 games over the last 2 weeks. So I will try to make an update on that as well in the near future and share my thoughts on all of these games, which ones I think are worth and which ones I think are not worth, or maybe the price point at which they become worth. I think that's a good way to think of games, and that price point might be different for everybody. It's a very subjective thing, but I can share my thoughts on the games that I've played and we'll go from there. Because I did play some true gems of the gaming industry. Anyways, if you made it this far into the video, thanks a lot. I hope you enjoy the summer and I hope you stay healthy. So take it easy and go chiso sama deshita.